Hey guys, welcome to day 146. It is Monday, April 27th, and we're going to get started with today's ELA lesson. Make sure you write your first name, last name, and circle your homeroom. Today's aim is Kipsters will be able to define the three types of author's purpose, which are persuade, inform, and entertain. But before we get into that, we're going to do our PDN. So make sure you press pause, and I'll see you in a moment. All right, guys, welcome back. The directions for the PDN say compare and contrast. We went over that skill last week, so make sure you fill in the Venn diagram with information from the passage. Since you've already pressed pause, that means that you should be done with this portion, but I will go over it to make sure that everybody has the concept. The title of the passage is Sea Turtles and Tortoises. A turtle is a kind of reptile that has a hard protective shell on its back. Turtles are cold-blooded animals that hatch from eggs. All turtles lay their eggs on land. Both sea turtles and tortoises are turtles. The 7 kinds of sea turtles live in warm ocean water. Their shells are designed for fast swimming. Their legs are like paddles with flippers for feet. Sea turtles cannot pull their head and legs for safety the way other turtles can. Sea turtles migrate great distances. Most sea turtles eat both plants and animal materials. The 50 kinds of tortoises live on land. They have heavy, short legs and crawl slowly, but they do not go far. Their shells are high domes with lots of room to hide, unlike most sea turtles. Tortoises only eat plants. Now we have to compare and contrast the sea turtle and the tortoise. So if we were to look to see how they were different, we would look on the outsides, and that is what shows us the difference. But when we want to know how they're alike, we look in the middle, because the middle is showing us how they compare. Now, a few things that I noted is that there are 7 different kinds of sea turtles, but there are 50 different kinds of tortoises, and they both are considered turtles. Another thing that I found out from reading the passage is that sea turtles live in warm water, tortoises live on land, but they both lay their eggs on land. At this moment, I want you to make sure that if you did not get everything that was in the passage on your Venn diagram, to make sure that you rewind this video and fill in your Venn diagram completely. All right, for those of you who are already done, let's flip the page. Okay, so today we are doing word work on prefixes, and prefixes are an affix that is placed at the beginning of another word. A root word is a word that does not have a prefix or a suffix added. Now, these are all concepts that we've been going over for a few weeks. So as I mention those sentences and fill in the blanks, you should be able to do the same as well, because we've said them over and over again for over 2 weeks. Now let's go into the vocabulary word in context. Now, we have non as a prefix. So we're going to put a P there, and then we have since as a root word. Now, when we mix those two together, we create a new word, and it's nonsense. Now, I want to think about nonsense. Non. What could non mean? Now, if I were to look up the meaning of the word non as a prefix, we would get the word not. Since would mean spoken or written. Words. And if we look in the dictionary to define the new word that we created, nonsense, it would be spoken or written word that have no meaning. Now, if we were to look in the thesaurus, we would find out that nonsense means gibberish, and that an antonym or an opposite word would be sense. Now, when we look down at the illustration, there's a guy, he's writing something out, and it looks pretty funny, and it says blah, blah, blah. The guy is talking nonsense because he is writing or speaking words that don't make sense. So he is writing nonsense, or he is speaking nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. Now, our sentence for today is Katie likes telling nonsense stories because they're funny to her. Flip the page. Okay, guys, board equals paper. Today we're learning the skill of the author's purpose. The author's purpose is the way an author writes a particular text. Now, there are three main reasons an author will write a text. The first one is to persuade. Next, we have inform. And last, we have entertain. Now, these are the three reasons that writers write. So we're going to go over each of them. The first is to persuade. An author tries to get the reader to believe or do something. Now, first we have text clues or hints. If you ever hear the phrase "you should," I think, it is better than, more than likely it is to persuade you. The genres that are covered are advertisements or commercials, and synonyms to persuade are to convince. Next, we have to inform. An author gives you facts or true information about a subject. Text clues or hints can be facts, charts, diagrams, maps, and timelines. The genres are usually informational texts, and the synonyms to inform are to tell, to notify, or to advise. Now, last we have to entertain. When you entertain as an author, you're writing entertaining things, stories to give the reader something to be amused by or to be delighted at. Now, text clues and hints include characters, elements of fantasy, funny, sad, or entertaining stories. Genres are fictional texts. Usually fictional texts are created to entertain the reader. Now, when we think of the author's purpose, we should think of PI. P, persuade, I, inform, E, entertain. Now let's go on to the model. Today, our aim is to define the three types of author's purpose, which are to persuade, inform, and entertain. Now, we have three passages, and we're going to go over them. Passage number 1. The Underground Railroad was a secret organization which helped slaves escape to freedom. Many slaves were able to escape because of the conductors and station masters. The northern states were free states, and slaves were free once they arrived in the North. Secret codes and signals were used to identify the conductors and station masters. What is the author's purpose in writing this text? Well, I know that the purpose was to inform. It was a really serious subject, so that's how I know it was serious and had several facts. That's how I know that this was to inform. Passage number 2. The Slim-O-Matic will cause you to lose pounds and inches from your body in just 1 month. This amazing machine helps you to exercise correctly and provide an easy video to show you the proper way to exercise. Send $75.99 and begin exercising today. Now, that sounds like they're trying to make me buy something. So, of course, I know that is to persuade. And how do I know? It sounds like a commercial. Let me change that up. Passage number 3. It says, "It was a glorious morning in Alabama. The sun was shining through the trees. Alan couldn't wait to find his fishing pole and call his friend Sam to go fishing. They had a great time on these early morning fishing trips. They took their dogs with them, and the dogs would swim in the lake while they fished. It was so funny to watch those dogs paddle around the lake." Now, what is the author's purpose? I think it's to entertain. And the reason why I believe so is because the story was kind of funny and it gave us some information about someone doing a hobby or enjoying themselves or being pleased. So it told a story where the characters were pleased. Joe had been fishing for over 2 hours without a single bite. Suddenly there was a nibble at the end of his fishing line. He stood up on the boat and leaned out too far. Just then there was a sharp yank on the line. Joe fell overboard and landed head first into the water. Joe and his friends laughed and laughed. What is the author's purpose for writing this text? I believe it is to entertain. How do I know? It was a funny story with characters. Next, it's new, it's refreshing, it's Slurpee soda. This is the best soda in the world. If you drink the soda, you will jump higher, run faster, and be smarter in school. Try one today. Well, the author's purpose for this was to persuade. They wanted you to buy something. That's how you know. If at any time throughout this video I've gone too fast, you can stop and rewind. Next, we have our independent practice. Make sure you take your time and do the exit ticket. Have a great day.